Hello, this is Tim Cronin, Superintendent of the Decorah Community School District. I'm going to do a quick Viking report with Mr. Adam Riley, the Activities Director for the Decorah Community School District. Adam, welcome.
Hello, thanks for having me.
Yeah.
My debut on a Viking report here, so I don't know what to say. Just humbled.
I think I think next stop is ESPN. I think folks have found that they can skip over Big Ten Network and get a little bit more national after they do the Viking report.
Yeah.
And then full disclosure, this should be a pretty good interview because we had practice with this and we had some technical issues. And so this is the second time today we've tried to do this. Hopefully it works out and we can go through. But we're just going to do a quick preview, maybe a little recap and talk about girls wrestling, kind of a big deal. First time that we've had an officially sanctioned female wrestling, high school girls wrestling here in Iowa. And the Decorah girls are sending almost a full squad down to Coralville starting tomorrow, Thursday, February 2nd. And Mr. Riley, you wanted to talk a little bit about how it went to host the Super Regional last Friday at Luther College?
Yeah, just a lot and a lot of great joint efforts. Obviously, the Girls Union approached Luther to be able to host because they obviously have a setup and a system put in place from hosting their Luther Open that they annually host in the November timeframe, and they really took the lead on the charge. But obviously, even when they host the Luther Open, there's certain things that we try to do to be able to come in and support them. So a really great community event when you bring 40 schools and all of that support that comes with it into town. Really super. Just a great day. You run an event that's got 8 mats and you've got people all over the place, and you have just enough, as I would call controlled chaos, kind of like the deck of an aircraft carrier. Things really went smooth with what Dave Mitchell and Renee Hartle and Jeff Friedoff running the computer system and all of these people that really put on a really great event for our kids, the community and their families. To be able to do it is really good. And then to top it all off, our girls had a great day in terms of 10 of the 11 that we had wrestling went ahead and qualified, and a number of them won their brackets and just put themselves in a really good position to hopefully have a really good state meet here in Coralville starting tomorrow.
Absolutely. We'd be remiss if we didn't talk. They went high end with the PA announcer for the invitational, getting Decorah's own Darren Svensson in to do that. That was pretty big deal. Yes. Girls had a fantastic day. Did you want to comment about our PA announcer?
Well, I just, when you add some of the people, obviously our wrestlers get the mats there, but it was kind of like getting the old band together the way we've done some things with Friedoff running some track wrestling. And yes, the Darren Svensson on the public address. It's always a bright and astonishing day. He does a really good job promoting kids, which is what we enjoy for sure.
Yeah, that was good. And I didn't realize he was mobile, so he got to just kind of walk around and he didn't have to stay seated at a chair or desk or table. He could just move around throughout the arena. So Friday, we had 2 districts, so we kind of had a super regional going on, and I didn't get away quite as early as I thought I would, but I picked a pretty good time. They started the championship bouts and they were all on whatever mat, and it soon became apparent as I was catching up to where we were at that we had a bunch of the Decorah wrestlers were all in the championship. So it was a pretty cool day just to stand in one spot and watch a lot of wrestling. So but of our qualifiers, we've got Chloe Sheffield at 105. She's 24-6, and she's going to take a 16 seed at the state bracket. It's probably good to know that these brackets are 32. There are 32 brackets or person brackets. So then, if you've got a 16, or if you've got lower than 15, you're going to be wrestling somebody with less seed than you. So you'd be on paper favored in those bouts. So Chloe at 105, Caitlin Bork at 115. She finished 4th, but is heading on to state. and Caitlin's the 20 seed at state. She's 22-10 so far this year. Ashley Bjork is at 135. She won first place, 30-6, and she's going to be a 10 seed this year at state. And Anastasia, but I believe goes by Anna Simon at 135, freshman, 29-6, and she's going to be a 7 seed.
Yeah.
So a little bit about those guys.
Yeah, obviously the top part of the lineup and throughout the lineup, lots of good things that happened in the season for those girls. But you know, Chloe had a really, really good year in a strong state tournament last year, and wrestles really well in position all the time and does a lot of really, really good things in that weight class. Caitlin, you know, she's in her first year as a freshman with the high school wrestling part. I know she had a really great start to the year, as I think I alluded to her earlier in our first interview, our first take at this, that you know, she had a really good run at the Donnybrook tournament, and then things on the front side of the bracket, and definitely has the capability and ability to really be able to do some things to improve upon where she's at. Ashley is pretty seasoned. This is her third tournament. From a state tournament standpoint, it's amazing the growth that she's made, and really presents the challenges in terms of just being there and knowing really where to be at. And then Anna is the one who's really come on at the end of the year to both our home tournament the week before regionals, and then regional tournament. She wrestled the Bachman girl from MFL and really wrestled a really smart, intelligent, and really tough and physical matches that were really enjoyable to see and watch. So we know mentally and physically she's in a really good place right now.
Good deal. The rest of the squad, Mackenzie Tollefson finished, let me see if I've got this right, finished second, and she's going to get looks like about 11 seed at state. Lauren is going to be an 8 seed at 145. She got first. Mari Sessions won first place. She's going to be a 10 seed. Lauren is 26-10 on the year. Mari is 28-5. And then Naomi Simon, 32-0, or won first place at 170. She's going to be the 1 seed. And then we have a couple of interesting stories as well. Cameron Steins, 14 seed. She got second place at 190. And Skyla is a 14 seed after finishing second at 235.
Yeah, you know, go ahead.
So go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at that, as we look at the bottom part of the second half of our lineup, that's where there's really a lot of strength in relation to what's happened over a period of time. Mackenzie's starting to come on at the right time at the end of the year here. She was leading in her finals match and wrestling pretty well, and just got caught when it comes time. That's part of the match when it comes time for it. But she's been doing a lot of really good things, and it's been fun to watch her in the process here over the last couple of years, and her confidence in herself really grow. She's in her third year and really making a strong commitment to what she's doing from a wrestling standpoint. You know, Lauren's in her first state tournament, a product of, you know, wrestling for a couple years in the middle school and really coming to find that she enjoyed it. And Lauren is a very strong competitor in a lot of different ways, but lots of experience, you know, played a lot of varsity softball as an 8th grader. And obviously with some older siblings that did a lot of really good things. So she's had a really fun year to be able to watch as she's really grown and began to understand, and coachability, yet again, like with all these girls, extremely high. Mari Sessions is just a really unique, fun story for a lot of us in the high schools we watch. Really strong leader, probably the mother and the mother hand along with Naomi of the girls wrestling program, and her leadership in girls cross country has been nothing short of outstanding. And, you know, her being in her third year of wrestling, she is just really rock solid in the way that she approaches how she does things mentally, physically, and then her interactions are. Our girls wrestling program, the culture is just awesome, and Mari has a huge part of that. In addition to that, we can't go without mentioning Naomi and the impact that she has just on the school building and everything as a whole. Obviously, she's going to be competing for a third state title, and has really committed herself in this sport in a big way. But, you know, band and everything else, she provides a lot of leadership and is a really well-rounded person. So I know there's a lot of people that cheer for her in a lot of different ways, because she's just willing to really give of herself to others. and let some of the enjoyment. So she's in a really good place at 170 to continue to defend her third title. Just needs to go take care of business. And then, we get to the last two spots at 190 and 235. Cameron Steinis wrestled, the majority of the year on the 155 slot as her and Mari, but you've got Mari who's rock solid. You've got Naomi, so it's where's there a place for her to be able to crack the lineup and to strengthen the lineup a little bit as things laid out. Cameron bumped up to 190. She won the regional title, and even though she's a little undersized because she has a strong gymnastic background and some other things, she's just a tough and very dedicated young lady in the way that she approaches. So I know that she's ready to make a little noise and surprise some people at the tournament, and is motivated in a good way. And Skyla Jevny, she's in her second year of wrestling. Last year at this time, if you would have asked her if she would have been wrestling in the state girls tournament and qualifying in the fashion and manner that she did, she probably would have argued with you and said, I don't know that I can do that. But she is really committed, and that's where the culture of learning and coachability has been so awesome in our girls program. And she bumped up from 190 to 235 and had an excellent regional tournament. And I know she's looking forward to have an opportunity to have a good state tournament as well when we look at the girls. So
Very good. Appreciate the rundown. And I'm confused a little bit on what we've talked about, what we haven't, because we've done this interview twice, but the state tournament will be at the Excel Center in Coralville. There are 4 rounds or 4 sessions. There'll be 2 rounds each day, starting at 9 o'clock. Tomorrow, second session starts at 5, then 9 o'clock on Friday, and then the finals Friday night at 6 p.m. Great venue. I had a chance to sneak down and watch a little bit of the Donnybrook when it was there, and I was really impressed with the venue. It's just set up well for events, and you can kind of really track, even if you don't, if track wrestling isn't working or you don't have your paper, you can find out where the folks are wrestling. Maybe we should let folks who aren't able to go down to the Excel Center, if you want to follow the Decorah results, everything's going to be on something called Track Wrestling website, but it sounds like we're going to have some folks doing some local commentary for us as well.
yeah, so I know Dave Anderson will be on Thursday, and Dave Anderson and Darren Svensson will be both there on Friday reporting. I know the girls union does plan on live streaming.
Okay, is that Dave Anderson, Dave Mitchell? Am I confused?
Dave Anderson.
Okay.
Yep. No, Dave Anderson does a lot of the work for K-Vike, and I know Darren's got some other obligations, so he'll be there just on Friday. The girls union does live stream. So if you go to ighsau.org, there's a Wrestling Central icon in the upper left-hand corner that'll get you to all of that information, including ticketing, if you want to purchase tickets in advance on that end of things, to be able to really be able to get that. The girls union does a magnificent job when it comes time to promote championship level events, and I know they've put a lot of preparation into this, just like they did for the regionals and our work with them. But they really put on a top-notch event for the athletes and the coaches to be able to be a part of, and really create an environment that is something that the spectators, as well as those directly involved, they won't forget. It's a memorable deal for them. So on the other side note too is our own high school junior Haley Stowe will be singing the national anthem prior to the Friday morning session. So we're really excited for her to have the opportunity to be able to do that. So we'll get a lot of Decorah flavor when it comes time to prepare for it. With that, the other piece, I think we talked about it in the previous one, is just how great a job the coaches have done. I know Coach Fullhart has overseen a lot of things. He's went directly into the head coach role for the boys side, but just being the person who's in the building to be able to help with a lot of flow of things. Jordan Thompson, who's our head girls coach, has been nothing short of outstanding in terms of his leadership that he's provided, and just continuing to foster that environment that's been set and established from the 2 previous years. Casey Cole's an assistant, Paige Hageman is assistant, also helps us extensively at the middle school. Bob Hockelsvik has been a volunteer and really focused on the girls program a lot in the last 3 years and put an extensive amount of time in. And Matt Simon obviously has been fully invested. He's one of our assistant boys coaches, but spends just as much time helping support the girls, just like Coach Fullhart. So I know we're looking to be able to get a few more people involved from the coaches standpoint to help join those environments. And we're really looking forward to what the future holds even after this tournament when it comes time for it.
Yeah, thank you. Those points are well taken. We do have this year we did hire separate head coaches for the girls. I thought that was a great idea, great suggestion. Glad the board supported it. But just to make sure that each team had a separate coach, although clearly, as you stated, we get a lot of support or exchange there between knowledge and stuff. First, so you mentioned about like Naomi. So she's a two-time state champion, and that was at what was the sanctioning body when before this year? Because now it's under the girls' union, but prior to this year, we had a girls' state wrestling tournament. But who was it sponsored by?
The Iowa Wrestling Coaches and Officials Association did sponsor a state tournament. Their first one was maybe 5 years ago. And they ran it for 3 years at Waverly Shell Rock High School. That initial tournament was somewhere, I think, around 100 to 150 wrestlers. And then now we've grown to the 32 person brackets. And, initially wrestling when it was registered in track for these regional wrestling or super regionals, I think we were over 2,000 wrestlers that began the initial participation, which is just amazing with the growth. But they did sanction a tournament that continued to grow. Last year was the first year that they hosted it at Extreme Arena. As everybody was beginning to make their push and advocating for the sanctioning of the girls wrestling, which was announced at that event, was a super exciting moment on that end of things. So Naomi has won those events and obviously full 32 per person brackets when it came time for that, but really kind of set things on the way. I know she's looking forward to winning on a sanction side of things too. So
And so I guess there's an opportunity, and we want everyone to have a great experience and to do the best they can, but there is an opportunity here for a team trophy. This will be the first year that there'll be an Iowa girls union wrestling champion at the tournament.
Yeah, in the previous years they did give out a team trophy, but it was unlimited entry within that state tournament. Where this is a new concept, and I know it's got the girls a little nervous, but they'll be fine. Obviously, everybody's had to qualify to be able to get in on that end of things. So there's only a certain amount of scoring that can occur with those people that are originally in the lineup. But yes, they will award trophies for the first, second, and third place. Obviously, with the most qualifiers, we get excited because obviously we hope there's some points opportunities to be able to do that. But there's a lot of different things that happen and shake out in a 32 person bracket in a tournament, similar to I think probably most wrestling fans would know from experience when you look at the NCAA wrestling tournament and how that operates and shakes out, where the boys by comparison is still in the mode of a 16 person bracket. So lots of different ways to score. And really making sure that you stay alive if you do lose on the backside, and what those consolation semifinals look like and everything else. But unique part of the end of the wrestling is everybody's got to go out and wrestle their individual match one at a time, and then hopefully let the team part shake out as we go on. But I know we've got some girls that really want to go do some things to achieve some goals on their own. And if everything falls right for the team side, they'd certainly look at that as a blessing without a doubt.
Absolutely. And that's, so you're always scoring points in wrestling. Obviously for yourself, you want to win in advance, but even if you have a personal setback, there's still an opportunity to go out, and any point you can get is, points that will, you get advancement points and bonus points that can help the team. So very good.
Yep.
All right. Well, I really hope, it probably would have been a good idea to record this as well, just audio, but I'm really hoping that this one worked, because this might have been better than last time.
Maybe. I guess the only other plug that I'd probably throw back in on the other side, is just on the boys. As we look forward, we are hosting, once we get past the girls the week following, we do host a new format for the boys wrestling in classes, all classes across the board. There's no sectional tournaments like there was in the past, especially in 1A and 2A, where we will host a 18 district format with the top 2 qualifiers qualifying for the state wrestling meet on Saturday, February 11th. So next weekend, and with that new format, I know it creates some new excitement. We'll bring some more people to town and hopefully put on a really great event for the kids and coaches as we go along, and they prepare for the next step of the state wrestling meet for the individual tournament for the boys.
And the boys that's going to be at Decorah High School. Correct?
That's correct. Yes.
Okay. So
Yep.
Very good. That's good to know. So that'll be on Saturday, February
11th.
February 11th.
Yep.
I was going to say, better not be
So
February.
it's a different format for the Yeah, a different format for the boys. They had regional dual qualifiers last night, and the state dual team tournament will actually be in it at Extreme Arena on Saturday the 4th, as they try to experiment, and that replaces the weekend of the sectional tournament. So hopefully it puts a little more value into the dual tournament, helps with some seeding when they go into the district and even the state meet. So it'll be exciting to see how this all works out, what kind of feedback we get from coaches and communities when it comes time for this new format for the boys.
Yeah, I was glad to see that the boys did that, because I know it was tough. The old format was you would do the dual championship just the day before you did the individual tournament.
Yeah.
So you would see dual teams not sending out their regular lineup, because they didn't want wrestlers to either, have to wrestle too many times the day before the state tournament started and or get hurt. So you might see some real interesting scores, and all of a sudden you'd have a dual team championship. But yeah, you wouldn't want somebody the day before they were going for their individual championship to have to get hurt.
Title.
So hopefully spreading that out,
Yeah.
engage people a little bit more, and we'll see a little bit better wrestling there.
Yeah, there's no doubt that that's one of the elements, and there's those side effects, and hopefully there's some improvements. Nothing's ever going to be perfect. I don't think you'll ever see consensus with everybody, but I definitely think there's excitement. I've said this to numerous people. The infusion of the girls and the sanctioning has just definitely breathed some new life into the sport of wrestling in the state of Iowa, which is already, there's a lot of passion anyway. And then when that happens, you get more people involved in like in this case where we're providing there's a lot of opportunities for girls that are happening right now during the winter months that didn't exist before, which is really, really exciting in a lot of ways.
Absolutely. And I'll tell you what, on a personal note, I'm super happy that the girls in Iowa get a chance to wrestle. But the few times I've been at wrestling, the thing that sticks with me the most is watching the dads getting to celebrate wrestling with their daughters. And, I saw a young lady, actually, I think the girl that won at 235, she beat a Decorah girl, which that wasn't great, but they both were going to state, and she ran off and she jumped into her dad's arms, and her dad, they had a moment. And I thought to myself, as a father, if you're passionate about something, it's awesome that you get to have that moment with your daughter. And then that guy gets to go back to Western Dubuque and go into the Casey's and what's the town over there? Well, gets to go Piasta is what I was thinking. So he gets to go with the Piasta Casey's or the diner, and he gets to brag on his daughter, and that obviously was something he couldn't have done if we didn't have high school wrestling. So yeah, it's good stuff. It's neat to see. I'm glad that the girls are wrestling girls, and they've got, it's not girls wrestling a boy sport, it's girls wrestling girls, and it's super cool. And it's amazing to me that it took Iowa so long to get here, but now that we're doing it, I think we're doing it correctly. So that's a good stuff.
Yeah, no doubt. I think it's going to be a great tournament. And as we said, the girls union, they throw on when they put on a championship tournament, they put a lot of attention to detail to really do the best they can, which is awesome for our kids. So
yeah. Awesome. All right. Well, thanks for doing this interview for me 2 times today, and we'll keep our fingers crossed. And if folks are seeing it, then that means that the computer did not crash again. All right. Thanks, Mr. Riley.
All right.